Hello and welcome to another edition of Danny Dog Poker, episode 5, where we're at a meet-up game that I've organised at the casino with a few friends. It's a £1 cash game. We have sat down with £100, we face a £10 raise pre-flop with ace-jack, and we flop top, which is always good. The pre-flop aggressor win leads out for £15. I decide just a flat call, hoping that the player behind on the button, Ben, will raise, which unfortunately he doesn't. So I think one of them's probably on a flush draw. Wayne at this point could have queens, kings, aces. However, when the board pairs and he just bets £20 on the turn, he could have a hand like king jack, queen jack, ace queen of diamonds, ace king of diamonds, ace 10 of diamonds. Maybe pocket tens, probably not. He'd probably check pocket tens, but regardless, I'm obviously going to call, hoping again that Ben re-raises, which he does not. He only calls, which boosts the pot. We could be chopping here a few times, but when the river unfortunately comes a 10, that's not good because we're now losing to pocket tens, obviously. So we just wait to see how much Wayne bets on the river. He is a bit of a fish at times, so you know, he bets £25. I think that's a reasonable price. Again, I just call, hoping that Ben tries to bluff at it, which he doesn't. He folds, and Wayne turns over ace jack, and we chop up Ben's money. So off to a winning start. First hand of the night. Next hand, we look down at ace king. Is it? Sorry, 5-3 diamonds. Misread the graphics. 5-3 diamonds. There's a player behind me that raises to £4, and I re-pop it to £11. Just trying to get a bit loosey-goosey to begin with, try and represent a very loose image at the start of the night, get those chips flowing. And I think it falls back round to him again, and he makes the call. So we're off to a flop heads up, which comes rather favourable for us. Is the jack 7-6 with 2 diamonds. We flop the straight flush draw. This player checks, we bet £10, and he decides to raise to £25. So what's he got? Ace jack, pocket sixes, pocket sevens, pocket jacks. Definitely not going to fold. So I make the call for £25, hoping to turn a diamond. It's good. Unfortunately not the 4 of diamonds, but it does give us the flush. And when he checks, I'm almost certain that he does not have a flush. So we want to charge any ace of diamonds or king of diamonds that fancy coming along, and we shove all in. He thinks for a bit, makes you stick the camera on his face just for good measure. He makes the reluctant call, turns over pocket sixes, the flop set, and we hold and pick up a nice pot. Now we have ace king with the king of spades, which will become relevant later on. It was raised, and I did just flat call for the £6. I've been kind of playing ace king cautiously recently. We completely missed the flop, apart from the backdoor flush draw and the 2 overcards. We check, hoping that Ben bets, which he doesn't. And we hit the spade on the turn, picking up the second nut flush draw. So I think now is a good time to build up a bit of a pot in case the spade does come in the river. So we lead out for 11. Ben just calls, and I think if he had the ace of spades here, he'd probably raise it. That's the sort of player that he is, the semi-bluff. Obviously, if he had a set, he'd probably re-raise me there as well at this point, or straight. I say that I want spade. Spade comes from the river. I check.
He doesn't know what to do.
Hoping that he just bluffs now with some rubbish hand. I do consider re-raising, but I don't.
I got straight flush.
No way.
Straight up.
Look at him, he's no way.
Small spade and also jack and queen.
Yeah, why
Possibly should have re-raised him. In the next hand we have 4 deuce of diamonds. Now I'm not really involved with this hand for very long because it quickly gets out of control, and I've just sped it up really so you guys get to see what happens on the river, but it's quite a big juicy pot basically. I lead out for £2 on the flop. So call, then I'll raise to £4 from Joe. I call, there's another call. And then the turn, here's the board. Basically we end up getting out of the way, which I think is the best move. Clearly behind to some sort of ace. And then these two just go at it. There's a £16 bet from Mark. Joe min clicks it to £32. I fold obviously. Mark decides on a call. So at this point I'm thinking ace jack against ace king, or who knows, flush draw against an ace. Nobody could really prepare any of us for what was about to come in the river. So we see a king in the river. Joe slows down and checks again. Mark obviously decides he wants to make a bet for value of £50. Joe announces all in. Mark has a 6, says he cannot fold.
Oh wow.
And Joe turns over pocket aces for the turn nuts. Nice hand, Joe.
Checks the river there as well.
Very tricky.
You weren't going to check.
You're hoping he's got a 6. Unlucky, mate.
So big pot, 1 from Joe there in that last hand. We look down at one of our favourite hands, King Queen, and Joe getting a bit splashy now. He raises to £7. We make the call, and there are 2 other callers. So we see a flop, which is pretty favourable. Queen 10-7, it's £30 in the pot. Joe leads out for 12. We just decide to call, hoping that somebody comes over the top. Ben makes the call, and then there is a shove for £27 by Dean in the small blind, I believe. Joe makes the call, which is strange because if he had a hand like ace queen or a set, I think he would probably re-raise. So interesting flat call. Could have pocket jacks. He could have ace 10 possibly. Jack queen. There's no flush draws there for me to worry about. So I go ahead and make the call. Just playing cautiously. It would be nice to see a queen on the turn as opposed to a king. Don't want any straight draws to complete. So I make the call, Ben makes the call. As we head to the turn, 4 ways. 1 player all in, 1 player at risk. Dean's at risk. Joe's a pretty tricky player. So when he checks this turn, the 4 comes on the turn, 4 of diamonds, he checks it. I should probably lead, but I check. Ben also checks. River's a 10. And when Joe checks at this stage, I'm thinking he's got a hand like pocket jacks. Jack queen maybe. Pocket 9s, who knows. Probably not pocket 9s, but I think I might be able to squeeze a little bit of value out of him. Nothing worse than checking back top pair and missing a bit of value, which we're probably going to lose to the guy that shoved all in. So let's try and win a side pot. So I go ahead and bet, I can't remember how much it is now actually, £25, £30. A very small bet. You can see Joe there, top right of the screen. I wonder what's going through his brain right now. He basically puts me all in. I've only got about another £50 behind at this stage, so he knows I'm probably not going to fold, and he announced he's all in. Which is not really what I want to hear. But I'm getting the odds when I'm only really beating Jack Queen, but I don't even think he would shove with that. It's my call. And of course he's got a 10.
I've just got a queen.
Dean had ace
I've
10
just got a queen.
and Joe had king 10. Typical.
Wow.
So time for retribution. We have ace 3 of clubs. There's a £10 raise. We make the call. And we see a very interesting flop featuring 2 clubs. King of diamonds, 4 of clubs, 5 of clubs. So we flop the flush draw and the straight draw. Joe, who I believe was the pre-flop raiser, goes ahead and c-bets. I believe it's £12. I've got Ben behind me, and I really want him just to re-raise it, to be honest. But unfortunately, he doesn't. He just he finds the. Did he find the fold, or does he call? Yeah, he calls. He calls. That's right. Joe also calls. And now, if we all pray hard enough, we might just bink a 2 on the turn. Are you ready? Cross your fingers. Bang. There it is. We turn the nuts, essentially. Only losing to 3-6. And we've got the clubs for the redraw. Wow. Just great run good here. Joe checks. We lead out for 33. Somebody's got to have a piece of this, haven't they? A king, smaller flush draw. With my image, they're never going to believe me. They're never going to believe that I've got ace 3. Really want Ben to re-raise it at this point with like queen jack of clubs or something, or a set. Unfortunately, he tanks for a bit and then postures and then makes the fold. Joe, on the other hand, pre-flop raiser. We've got a lot of history together. He never believes me, and he fortunately makes the call. Now, what I don't want to see on the river is an ace, or a 3, and it's a 3. It's not a great card for me, because if he did have ace king, then we are now chopping, so that's not good. If he did have pocket 6s, which is very unlikely, we're now losing. But when he checks it to me, we lead out for £50. Only £80 on my stack, so we don't shove all in. I think that'd be a bit too much for him to call if he did have a hand like king queen or a smaller pair. So we just bet downside to about £50 for value, and it's nice to see him squirm for a change. We shove the camera in his face, and I'll let you listen to the audio.
Yeah, it's no rush. Another Pepsi's here.
Definitely rivet the straight, isn't it?
Another Pepsi as well.
And then the other one is in C1.
No shame in folding, mate.
Why didn't you just shove? Why didn't you shove? I feel like if you had the ace, you would just shove because you got nothing.
hard one to answer, isn't it? Never know what to say when someone says that.
I think you got it, but I have to see.
Set. Feels like a set. No, see, at least you hit yours.
Oh, the fucking
You have to try flush as well.
So it was nice to get one up on Joe for a change. He later told me that he had a king.
That's what I needed on mine.
The river's a terrible card.
You've just won a bomb pot. You're priced in. Come and see a flop with us. Too late now.
So with the Queen 5 of Hearts, we flop a flush draw. I do look a little bit tilted here because I've just lost a bomb pot. So I'll go ahead and lead out on the flop. Ben quickly calls behind, and Dean also makes the call. So we're and then there's a fold. Now so we're 3 ways to the turn. Hoping to hit a heart on the turn would be nice. Unfortunately though, it's a deuce. So the board pairs now losing to a number of hands. So we check for deception, hoping to river a heart, and hallelujah, we river the heart. So my hand is now very under-repped. Don't think anyone would really have me on a flush. Dean, who's obviously got a bit of it, goes ahead and bets £20. He's short stacked, so I make the decision just to go all in and go for all of his chips, since he got so lucky with me previously on the Ace-10 hand when he rivered the trips, and I had King Queen and outflopped him. Yeah, so we move all in, and despite being short stacked, he actually manages to find the fold, and would later tell me that he had ace deuce. So very good lay down from him there. Well done, Dean. So I'm not really involved in this hand too much, apart from I call a raise with ace king on the button, which is a bit silly really, but I just want to highlight this new player that just sat down. I've sped up the graphics because it doesn't really get interesting until the turn in the river. Basically the point I'm trying to get across is that he goes all in with just a jack. So he's just sat down with £200, first hand he's played. He 3-bets on the turn, and no, I think he 3-bet shoves basically all in for his stack, and he runs into a set of sixes, so he loses with Jack Queen. But I'll let the audio run out. We just want to highlight the fact that this guy is not scared to go all in on top pair. So we want to get into pots with him. So when I pick up pocket sixes in the next hand, probably about 20 minutes later, and this guy's sat back down again with about 150, I'm hoping that he comes along and we flop well, which we do. So I make it £4 pre-flop, he calls on the button. On the flop, we flop our set, wheel it out for 3, hoping that he's got a piece of it, and a piece he certainly has, because he raises it to £15. Now I want to play it safe, make sure the flush doesn't get there on the turn, and then evaluate. Could raise it, there's arguments for raising, but I want to play it safe, even against this lunatic who may well just have a jack again. And then the turn is pretty good for us. It's 7 pairing the board, giving us a bolt. We check it to him, hoping that he gets a bit crazy. He bets £50.
How much? 50. That's a big
And
bet,
I
sir.
rip all in for the remainder of my stack, which is about £120 at this point. And
Ollie.
the river is pretty disgusting. It's a 7, giving him quads, and we lose. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode. Take care.
Ouch.